In this video I'm going to show you some tips for buying cheap books or retro games or pretty much anything, cheap anything on eBay. So I'm going to show you the strategies that I use. So this video is triggered by the fact that this morning in the post I got this. It's a Retron 5 controller. Knew these are about, I don't know, 35, 40 pound. So I got this for £1, 4 pence with £3.98 postage, which makes it for £5, 2 pence. That's pretty good. And this was new, ex-display. A couple of days ago I got a new one, which was massively reduced for £20 off a retailer, £5 off eBay. That's pretty good, works, solid. And also this morning I got Midway Arcade Treasures 2, and this was £2.49 including postage. There's a lot of good stuff out there on eBay, but you have to know how to search for it and look for it, and that's what we're going to cover here. We have to have a strategy. So the first thing I'm going to say is what you really want to do is you want to target specific items. So specific games, specific books, very, very specific targeted things, because that allows you to write searches that really hone in on what you want to buy. So as an example, in fact, let's take the Midway Arcade Treasures 2 as an example. So if I was looking for that, I would do a search for Midway Arcade. So there's a previous search, Midway Arcade 2 Xbox. Let's search for that. Now, you can see here that what we've done is we've done a search, we've got best match, item location default. What I really want to do is I want to hone in on specific locations. So on the default, I'm seeing 34 results, UK only, I'm seeing 28. Now by doing UK only, I might get reduced postage, whatever else. What I can really do with locations, and I've done this in the past, when I was actually buying my Xbox console itself, this is what I did. I went for within, I think it was 10 miles of my postcode. Let's see what we've got. So no one is selling Midway Arcade 2 within that close a range, but if I do just Xbox, I'll put console. Because what we're doing when we do a really local search is we might see pickup only. And if we can see pickup onlys don't sell very well. And if they are nearby to you, then that might be really useful because you can go and pick them up. Use the location search, particularly looking for pickup only. So if I was looking for Midway Arcade 2 Xbox, first thing I want to do is I want to know how much it usually sells for. So if I say, again, UK only, sold. Now I can look for completed. That'll give me an idea of how much people are listing them for. But what I really want to know is how much they're actually selling for. Now the thing with the sold listings is you can't do a in description search. So what you're looking for are items that were relatively easy to find for people to find, and you get to see what they're sold for. So this is going for probably on average about £5. This is going for £3.50, so it actually goes lower than £5. £4.29 people are listing it, so chances are you probably want to pay about £4 for this. Someone got lucky here and did a £2.41. That was me, right? I bought this one. But you can see that also people are buying them in bundles. Bundles are a really good way of looking for items. We're going to cover that later on. So first of all, look for sold to give you an idea for how much it does actually sell for. And what's also useful is very often what you're looking for does not exist on eBay yet, and you're going to have to wait. You have to be prepared to wait. And you can see that sometimes they really do go for really small prices. And if you are prepared to wait and have the strategies for waiting, you can get a really good deal in that way. So we're going to cover strategies for that later on as well. The other thing you have to do is you have to decide how much is this worth to you. Now for me, I already own this on the PS2, so it wasn't worth an awful lot to me. But I was prepared to pay about £2.50, £3 for that. It wasn't going for that very often, but you can see I got it for £2.49, £2.41, so it came in at my range. That was what I was prepared to do. That's why I bought it immediately on a buy it now. So have in your head what you're prepared to pay for it. Because the reason you do a sold search and what you're prepared to pay for is sometimes it never comes up at the price you want. In which case, maybe you should change your expectations or maybe go and look somewhere else. But you're probably not going to find it on eBay. You might get lucky, but you only have 100 saved searches on eBay, so dedicating one of those searches to something you're not going to find might not be the best way to use your saved searches. When we're searching, we want to use very targeted searches. So Midway Arcade 2 Xbox, that's not particularly targeted. If I put in treasures in here, let's see what happens. So I've now got 22 results. Now what's interesting there is some people, when they're listing it, are not adding the word treasures in there. Let's see if we can find way. So complete collection of Midway Arcade, they don't mention treasures. So if I'm overly specific, I'm going to miss listings. So we want to be as specific as possible so we don't see a lot of bad things in our search. So what's important here? Xbox, because I only want it on the Xbox platform. 2, because I'm looking specifically for number 2, because I already own number 1 and already own number 3. Midway Arcade, because people are more likely to put those in. The word they miss out is treasures. If I put Midway 2 Xbox, let's see what happens. 69. So now we've got things that are not related to the Midway Arcade treasures. But it'd be really useful for me to have a tool that somehow compared what is the same between these and what is not, but I don't have that tool. So what I do is I try and construct searches where when I scroll through results, pretty much match what I'm looking for. I've already got Unreal Championship 2, I don't need that in my collection, so I'm going to leave arcade in here. Now I might be dropping things out of my search results coming back that is going to impact me being able to buy it, but I'm trying to be as specific as I can. When you have a search that you like, remember to do a save search. What will happen there is it will go into your save searches listing and you will receive emails on a daily basis about things being bought. If I have a quick look at my save searches, you only get 100 of these, so it's important to trim them down. I just bought that, so I don't need that in my list. We can see there is Midway Arcade Treasures 2. I've just bought that. I don't need that in my list. So it's important to trim this down. But that save searches, you receive emails on a daily basis from eBay. So before we do a save search, we really want to make sure our search is as good as possible. So some tips on searching. If I just do Midway Arcade 2 Xbox, it's going to return results that have those words in there in any order. I don't really want arcade, midway, second, machine, whatever. So if I say this, what it means is I want searches where it absolutely has the word midway followed by a space followed by the word arcade, and it has 2 and it has Xbox. Let's see if that makes a difference. So it dropped 3 out of the search results there. I'm not going to look back and see what they are, but that is a more specific search. What I will also do is sometimes I want to know if it's in the description because that opens the search out again. Someone might be selling a bundle that has that specific game listed in it. That might be useful to me. So if I do search with it in the description, now I have 67 coming back. Now what I tend to do when I'm doing a description search and it's coming back, there's things here I don't want. I don't want anything to do with Lego. So I'm going to say minus Lego. It's going to take out the results that have Lego mentioned in them. Now we've gone down to 60. So I can see whether there's anything else that isn't in there. So I got PS3 coming back. I don't really want PS3. Minus PS3. While I'm at it, I'll say minus PS2. I'll say minus PlayStation. Let's see what happens. So you can see what I'm doing is I'm refining my search. Because we've included description, we have more things. So I'm gradually refining my search based on the results that are coming back. And when I have a search that pretty much matches what I'm looking for, then I will hit return on it. When you search, put key phrases that you absolutely want to match in quotes. Use minus, then a search term to get rid of items that you do not want. If you include description and do a save search, that is usually a good way to find bargains. So the other thing that I'll do is I'll look for bundles. Now sometimes you might get lucky and the game that you want will be mentioned in a bundle. So we've got a couple of ways of doing this. I'm going to do Midway Arcade, then I'm going to search for a bundle. Now there's a couple of key phrases that people use when they're putting out bundles, bundle, collection, lot, bulk. These kind of things are what we want to look for. So you can see here I've done Midway Arcade, I put 2 in there. Let's take that out because that matched the PlayStation 2. And it's going Midway Arcade Bundle. I should really put Xbox in there. All right, so now I've got a much smaller list, and we can see that it's starting to match bundles. And the reason for doing bundles is very often people don't put the games that they're doing in the title. They'll very often put them in the description. So if I say include description, Midway Arcade Bundle, Xbox, now we've got bundles that have games in it. Some of these might be worth looking for. What I really like is, and I occasionally have searches like this, I'm looking for specific games, or I've got a bunch of games that I want. But I want to take advantage of the fact that sometimes people are lazy when they upload things into eBay. So they'll just say a bunch of Xbox games, bundle of Xbox games. So I will do a search for, and I won't include the description on this one, Xbox bundle. Then very often people don't list the games. Right, here's one, original Xbox console bundle. Now this has got 4 days left. That looks like a relatively good bundle if you're looking for a console, but it doesn't have a lot of bids on it because it's not coming up in a lot of people's searches. And the thing to do with bundles is look at the photograph, but sometimes people don't list all the photographs. So we have to jump through into the listing to see what they've got. Then in the photograph, check to see what games are in there. That is a pretty good bundle. If that was free collection and postage and you live nearby, that would be a great bundle to keep your eye on. But you can see here, this person has not listed in the bundle the games. So if you were doing a very specific targeted search for games, this would not come up. So having generic searches for bundles is a good idea. So I tend to, and here's another search tip, if I was looking for a generic one, I'd do Xbox bundle, and the brackets here mean Xbox and anything that's listed in here. So it'd say match Xbox bundle, Xbox bulk, Xbox lot, Xbox bunch, collection, bulk. So that is going to match a huge variety of Xbox things in the title. So what I don't really want is I don't want Xbox One. So I'm going to say minus Xbox One. Let's see what happens. Right, we're now down to 5,000, so that's better. Oh, I don't want 360. Minus 360. I'm only looking for original Xbox. Again, I'm refining my search. Add something very big generic, then start taking things away when I see them in here. Then, so you have a safe search. eBay sends you an email like this every day. This is good. You get to see some things that match. Very often, it doesn't include all the things that have matched. This link here is a link to your search. So you click on that link, goes off to eBay, shows you things that have matched in here. Now this is good because it's got the search term you're interested in, so you don't have to keep remembering what it is. But now you have the ability to start messing around here. So by default, the emails are going to be newly listed. Newly listed is really good for buy it nows. It's not so good for auctions. Auctions you really care about as they get closer to the end of their life. So when I click on a search for newly listed, what I'm really interested in is buy it nows that are a good deal. So I will look for newly listed, scroll through this, anything that's a bargain price that's something I'm looking for or interested in, then I might be able to snap it up. The other thing that I use this for is very often we miss things. So what I want is for buy it now, lowest price including postage and packaging. Then I'll see whether there's anything in here that is a bargain that I have somehow missed. Then I'm actually going to look for auctions and I'll look for ending soonest. Right? Auctions, you get bargains when they're ending very soon because you can snipe them, you can take advantage. So this is quite a good one. I'm interested in this, but I'm watching this. I saw this before, I clicked in on it, add to watch list. I click this add to watch list. That way I've got it in my watch list. It's got a collection of things that I've added that I'm keeping an eye on. And periodically I'll go in there. If they're getting close, I'll trim it down when I've decided I'm not interested. But this gives me the chance to keep an eye on when it's finishing. The other thing to keep an eye on is when an auction actually finishes. So this is finishing on the 3rd, which is today, which is a Saturday, and it's finishing at 8 o'clock. That's a bit of a dodgy time, and people very often aren't as aware there, but what you really want, when this says something like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, that's a fantastic opportunity to get a thing at a low price. Also, if this is at a time when people are at work, like 10:30 in the morning on a Monday or a Tuesday, not as many people are going to bid on that. So what people tend to do when it's a time that they can't be around is they'll put in a bid early so that they don't miss it or whatever, but it gives you a chance, if you can be around at that time, to try and snipe it. So we'll cover sniping. So that's using the emails we get. We click on the all listings, then we can filter through this just because we might miss things. All right, now with the bundle searches, it's really important to look at the photographs because, I mean, I got a really good bargain on Ninja Cop for the Game Boy Advance. It was in a bundle. I think the bundle itself was about £4, but Ninja Cop, it's because I was looking at the picture, I was going, that looks like Ninja Cop, and that never comes up. Clicked in, it was just a blurry image. There was no real description. I couldn't even make out properly that it was Ninja Cop, but I took the leap because I was pretty convinced, because the important thing about the games is, or the books is, you know what covers you want. You know what you're looking for, so you can spot it as you come through, because you don't have a lot of time. So you're going to be glancing this, you're going to be looking at things that match what is in your head for what you want. And your brain is arrested. So my brain is arrested here because this has got, what, 10, 12 games in there for a relatively low price. There's only a couple of days left. Sundays, not a big day for people when they're looking at things. 2 o'clock, I could be around then. I'm going to check to see what's in here. Got some of those. So there's nothing in there that I want, but that could be a good bundle for someone if they do want it. There's probably a better picture for seeing what's going on. Bundles, it's important to drop down and look at the images. So do, for bundles, specific searches for games, but also have generic one for the collections that you're looking for, simply because you get the emails and it reminds you to go and check. So sniping, we should cover sniping. Now in the past, I used to use tools which I'd put in the auctions, put in the maximum price I wanted, then they would monitor eBay and then they would bid on them. They were really good tools, but the one that I was using got bought by someone else. It kept degrading. It's just not reliable. So nowadays I tend to snipe manually. I think there are still tools, but because I've really adopted the strategy of I'm prepared to wait, I don't really get hung up on, am I going to miss it, am I not? So if I go into my watch list, we see what I'm currently watching. So this has got 58 minutes left. Now the good thing is about the watch list is you can come in and you go, now I'm really only interested in one game here, which is 3D Monster Maze. That is more than I'm prepared for 3D Monster Maze, so I'll probably drop out of this. The hope was, because it's a bundle, people might not be as interested in it. But if I was going to snipe on this, what I would do, I'd be waiting till this came down to probably about 10 seconds. I know what my maximum bid is. I'll enter my maximum bid, hit submit bid at that point. Because that whole process of clicking submit bid, entering your amount, clicking submit, if you do it at 10 seconds, will probably mean you'll put in a bid at about 5 to 4 seconds. So the only way you're going to get outbid is if someone else is sniping, or someone else is sniping automatically, or the person who has bid on it has already put in an amount greater than yours. So very often I'll use the watch list for that. If I'm not around at the time when it ends, because I'm keeping an eye on the end time, then what I will do is I will put in a bid for the maximum amount I'm prepared to pay for it early, or as late as I possibly can, but certainly before the end. I don't necessarily like doing that because it signals attention, but sometimes we have to do that because we're not around. Sometimes you get a good deal for doing that. This one, I think I sniped and got it in the last 5 or 6 seconds because someone had bid on it, but for some reason they hadn't put in the max they were prepared to pay, so they'd only put in £1, which was the minimum lowest bid. I was prepared to pay, I think, about a £5 for this. I put in a £5, and I got it for a little over £1.04. So always bid the maximum that you are prepared to pay for something. So you have to know in your head how much you're prepared to pay, and don't ever get encouraged to go beyond that. Right? If you're bidding on something early and the price goes up, and it's going up just a little bit more than you're prepared to pay, don't keep escalating. Don't get in a bidding war, because that's not how you get bargains. That's how you get things you want and absolutely need or must have quickly, but that's not how you get bargains. Bargains are about knowing your limit and stepping back when your limit has been reached. That's a key strategy. So the only other thing that I haven't covered is the fact that eBay isn't the only place that we need to look. What we need to do is harness places that will send us alerts. So a good thing, if I go off to Amazon, and let's keep up the pretense that I'm looking for Midway Arcade Treasures 2 Xbox. So there it is, 1 pence. Could I have paid 1 pence? Chances are no, because Amazon have postage and packaging. So the lowest this is $2.78, 9 pence. Not a bad price, given that we saw on eBay that sometimes this was going for £4, £4.50, being able to get it for £2.87. That'd be a good price. So Amazon is a good place to look as well. The good thing for Amazon, what we do is we take this URL, I copy it, then I go off to a site called camelcamelcamel.com, and then I enter the URL. And what's great about this is if it is tracking the price, then you will see a graph for prices that this has been. So third party new, it's currently listing at this. Let's have a look at third party used. I'll see the overlay. So the lowest it's ever been is 1 pence because of the postage charges that Amazon have. But what we can do with this is, if I say I want to monitor used, I can put my desired price up here, put in my email, start tracking, and Camel will periodically monitor it and send me an email back when it hits or is lower than the price that I'm looking for. I do this with books all the time. It's a fantastic system. There's no limit, I think, to how many you can set up. But what's also good is you receive email reminders about things that you were looking for or might still be looking for. And if you're not interested anymore, you can cancel the searches. Or if you are, it reminds you, now that I've got an email from Camel, let me go and do another search on eBay to see if I can find this. Let me go and do a search on Abe Books to see if this thing is available. Let me go and look at some of the retro gaming sites that I know about and see if it's listed there. So having these emails come through for things that you're interested in at price points that you are interested at also lets you redo a search to just re-trigger your memory. And I think that's it. There's quite a lot of tips in there, but those are the main ones that I use when I am searching for retro games or books on eBay. So I hope that helps. Certainly I bag bargains with that. The only thing I'll say is do not try and look for the same things as me, because I've just taught you all my secrets, and that'd be really bad for me.